The AFC can't stand what's happening in Denver right now, and the fear is real. Teams across the league are starting to do the math. What happens when the Broncos pair an elite, suffocating defense with a top 10 offense? The numbers don't look good for anyone else. Let's set the record straight. People love to throw rankings around, like Kansas City sitting at 5th on some top 10 defenses list. But here's the truth. Points allowed tell the real story. If your defense can't keep teams off the scoreboard, nothing else matters. Last season, the Broncos were a nightmare for opposing offenses. They finished 3rd in points allowed, and that was without key starters like Alex Singleton, Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, and Jaquan McMillian. Even at less than full strength, they mauled the Chiefs, holding Patrick Mahomes to just 16 points in both meetings. For context, Mahomes dropped 22 on Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. Think about that. Kansas City averaged 8 fewer points against Denver's defense. And now this unit is stronger, deeper, and hungrier than ever. Mahomes was pressured relentlessly, hit over and over, and still couldn't solve the Broncos' scheme. Opposing teams may keep talking, but deep down they know what's coming. A Denver defense ready to dominate the AFC. When you talk about elite units, the Denver Broncos are no longer just a defensive powerhouse. They're climbing the offensive ranks, too. Analysts love to nitpick, but the numbers don't lie. The Broncos enter this season boasting the 6th best offense in the NFL. And that's no hype, just cold, hard facts. Last year, Bo Nix threw the 6th most touchdown passes in the league, doing it without a consistent running game and without a dominant tight end. Imagine what happens when that ground attack finally clicks and his young receivers take their next leap. Wideouts like Devon Veal and Troy Franklin are primed for massive second-year jumps, and Marvin Mims Jr. has already proven himself nearly unguardable. Add in the best offensive line in football, and suddenly Denver isn't just competing, they're terrifying defenses. Now contrast that with Kansas City, who barely made the top 10. Patrick Mahomes is still elite, but questions about their run game, offensive line, and receiver room linger. Even their own fans are unsure about the commitment to the ground attack and the durability of weapons like Hollywood Brown. And let's not forget, they allowed 6 sacks in the Super Bowl with only a 4-man rush. So, do the math. A Denver team with the league's most suffocating defense and a top 6 offense. That's not just playoff potential, that's an AFC championship contender in the making. The Kansas City Chiefs just handed Trey Smith a 4-year, $94 million extension with a massive $70 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid guard in NFL history. On the surface, that sounds impressive. Every player dreams of holding the highest paid title at their position, even if only for a moment. But here's the reality. Smith wasn't even the best guard on Kansas City's roster last year. He was their second best, on an offensive line that surrendered 6 sacks in the Super Bowl against a 4-man rush. And now, the Chiefs have poured elite money into him, while letting Joe Thuney, a more proven veteran, walk away for little in return. Meanwhile, Denver's own Quinn Miners, an All-Pro and one of the most dominant interior linemen in football, took a hometown discount to stay with the Broncos. By every advanced metric and player vote, he's graded higher than Smith, yet he's only the 8th highest paid guard in the league. The move highlights a troubling trend in Kansas City, paying top dollar for names instead of true value. Sure, the Chiefs have been perennial contenders, but history shows dynasties crumble when roster management starts to slip. To the rest of the AFC, this looks less like smart planning and more like a gamble that could come back to haunt them. If Kansas City really had foresight, they'd have locked in Trey Smith last year, saving millions. Instead, they're paying him $5 million more per year than Denver's Quinn Miners, a superior guard by every measurable standard. It's a move that has many around the league scratching their heads. Meanwhile, over in Las Vegas, uncertainty clouds the Raiders' defensive front. Christian Wilkins remains on the PUP list, and whispers about a lingering foot issue, and even a possible second surgery, refuse to fade. Pairing Wilkins with Max Crosby and Malcolm Koonce could have made one of the league's most dominant defensive lines, but for now, it remains a what-if scenario. And as if the noise around the Chiefs and Raiders wasn't enough, Kansas City's own media keeps handing Broncos country bulletin board material. Bold claims about players avoiding suspension have already blown up, and then came the wildest take yet. We'll see the Epstein list before the Broncos win another playoff game. Here's the reality. Denver is armed with the best defense in football and a top 6 offense. This team is young, deep, and built to dominate for years to come. The rest of the AFC might not like it, but they can't stop it. Broncos country, get ready. A new era of dominance has arrived, and the league knows it.